So it appears that with only 6 years on the market, the Leatherman Free P2 and P4 are going to be discontinued. Now, this might not be the travesty that it sounds like, and actually I want to talk about what they did right and how they could make this tool even better in the next iteration. Let's go ahead and get started. So if we go back to 2018, when this tool was originally announced, it was this huge ad campaign, the next generation of multi-tools. Now, if you've watched the timing of that, that's almost exactly the same time. I think 1999 was the patents for the Leatherman Wave. It was exactly 20 years from that. So they knew the patents were coming up. They knew they were going to start having to face clones of the tool, and they wanted to create something new. And they did that. They spent, according to them, I think it was 7 years to develop the Free Series platform. And in some ways, it's pretty amazing. But they made a big mistake in their marketing strategy by comparing it directly with the best-selling multi-tool of all time, the Leatherman Wave. In fact, they repeatedly, in multiple interviews, stated that the Leatherman Free P4 specifically was better than the Leatherman Wave. Their words, not mine. And this immediately set them up for failure the moment the tool hit the market. And it was compounded by the fact that it had some quality control issues right up front, some issues with the pliers, some issues with the deployment of the internal implements like this. Notice that they come out when you slam them together. There was things like that that people noticed and they started mentioning, but that compounded the fact that they had compared it to the Leatherman Wave. And when everyone did a comparison, they're like, what are you talking about? The Leatherman Wave has a full-sized cross-cut and diamond file. The Leatherman Wave has a bit driver. The Leatherman Wave has a micro bit driver, something that the Leatherman Free P4 did not have any of. So not just that, but the tools that were included on the Free P4, they were very familiar to a lot of people. And the tools that it looks like the low budget Wingman and Sidekick. That's what people noticed. And it does look dangerously similar for a tool that is significantly more expensive than the Leatherman Wave was. This released almost 30, I believe 20 or $30 more than the Leatherman Wave, I'm sorry, $40 than the Leatherman Wave. And so it was a hard sell on price alone. And then when you compared it to not having the right tool set, and many argued the worst tool set, it didn't bode well for Leatherman at that particular time. Now, I have come, and I will say this when we get to the positives, I have come to really appreciate these for different reasons. But this kind of set a bad taste in people's mouths from the very beginning. Why would you attack your best-selling multi-tool, especially if you can't deliver on that kind of challenge? It was really a little bit of an embarrassment. And since I think Leatherman has become incredibly gun-shy with making any sort of public statement. In fact, I don't know if we've even seen Leatherman present at a single trade show since the Leatherman Free Series. Realistically, we haven't seen them for many years, and there's been no one to talk to about these things because they're so afraid of making the same mistakes, which I sort of understand. Now, that is not to say these didn't have great value. And once I personally kind of got this out of my head of comparing it to Leatherman Wave, I really began to appreciate what both of these two tools brought to the market. The Leatherman Free P2 ended up in my pocket a lot because of all the tools that didn't include the bit kit. This one made a ton of sense. It was very convenient, very fun to play with, and it just accomplished most things that I needed day to day. And yeah, I didn't prefer this partially serrated blade. It's not my thing. In fact, I even made my own modified version with a straight blade. And, but without it even, I still liked it. And even the tool set grew on me over time. I really started to utilize each and every function and found I appreciated them quite a bit. Yes, I never really liked the file. I never really used the file, but like the reamer all people didn't like. I actually found this tool was way better than I expected as well. And I used this little small flathead for a lot of things that really surprised me. That was from an EDC multi-tool perspective. I thought it was way better than I originally reviewed it at. And then the free P4 came into a whole new light for me when I saw it being taken to an Alone series season, where the individual specifically chose this tool and thought out how each and every implement would be utilized in an outdoor setting. It is when I got to that point that I realized having a tool that can be accessed with any blade, right or left-handed, and also if I'm holding something, I can then access any other tool. It's when I realized, aha, this is a very good tool for fishing and for outdoors use and so on, because there's nothing to lose, no loose bits, and it's all one-handable, meaning I can use it with my left or right hand. Aha, now I found a context that made it work. Unfortunately, I don't think that's enough reason for the majority of people to reconsider it after the fiasco of comparing it to the Leatherman Wave. So going with that, there was a lot of things that they could take from this. And I think that discontinuing the free P2 specifically may be a little bit of a mistake, because I think that if they just reincorporate this with a straight blade, and you know what, we'll get to it when we talk about the Leatherman Arc. I take it back. So when we bring in the Leatherman Arc, let's look at what happened with it. 230. A lot of critics said, oh, this thing will never sell. I actually thought it would I thought it would not only sell, but it would sell out. So far, they have actually been able to keep the stock up, which is impressive, and the demand has stayed high, which is also more than I expected from this tool, especially considering its price point of $230. You can genuinely get 2 waves and still have a whole bunch of money left over for bits for the same price as the Leatherman Arc. But the thing the Arc brings to bear, the thing that we learned about the Leatherman Arc, is not that the MagnaCut is as big a deal as really that people get, although it did attract a lot of individuals to it. The fact that it has a very good tool set with the blade, a saw, a true diamond file with a really aggressive crosscut, and an outboard accessible scissor, a nice one in fact, was perfect. It's what we've been asking for I don't know, however long. And then you combine that, the microbit driver comes back, and we finally get a reamer, something that the Leatherman Wave does not have, and we've been asking for. And then on the other side, we have our can opener, and we have our bit driver, something that people have been asking for since the introduction of these tools. The tool set is one of the biggest reasons to get this tool, but is not enough to convince the general population. Excuse me. The price point is simply too high. So there's a huge opportunity, and I'm sure they have recognized this, to introduce or reintroduce the P4 with an updated tool set. It is what I expect to happen with this whole thing. I do not believe they would just let these patents expire and this be the only USA made tool in their lineup. I know someone's going to say and go, oh my God, what are you talking about? Oh, they're all USA made. You see how this USA stamp is right here? Take a look at your Leathermans. Take a look and just attempt to find USA written anywhere on it. And the reason it doesn't is they lost a lawsuit back, I don't remember how many years ago, because they didn't meet the 70% threshold necessary to be considered USA made. Now these are USA assembled, 100%, and more than 50% is likely made here. But things like the bit, it's things like the plier head, the replaceable cutters, and the bit holders, which have to be cast, likely in Mexico. That's my guess based on information I have. They couldn't put the USA stamp on here, or on the Leatherman Surge, or on the Leatherman Rebar, or pretty much any other tool. So unless they are planning to only have this as the only USA made tool, I'm gonna guess they're going to revitalize these tools. I would be very surprised if they decide not to do that. This still has a lot of potential, even though they're going to be more expensive than the Leatherman Wave series. I don't think it's going to keep people from buying them with the correct tool set. That being said, here's my warning for Leatherman. They have already, upped the prices of both the P2 and the P4 by $10 since its introduction in 2018. If they release an updated tool set, just like the ARC, but then they up the price even further, they should fully expect the community not to be happy. Because the Leatherman Wave still exists, clones of Leatherman Wave exist at a fraction of the price, and you're going to have a hard time convincing people to jump up to $170 for what they're considering to be the next generation multi-tool. They're just going to struggle. There's just too much competition out there in the market right now, and it would be a bad time to try to extract more money from consumers, I think. But at 150 and 130 with the updated tool set, I think they'll do very, very well. Now, do I believe they should have discontinued these tools, at least silently, prior to releasing it? Should they have continued to carry it up until the very end? Absolutely. Why would you want to bring in this type of message before you have something to replace it? It just doesn't seem like it was thought out particularly well. But I have pretty strong confidence that Leatherman will take these lessons and they will implement it, and you will be seeing an update. So don't be afraid, there will be returns. And if they're not, then Leatherman has completely fallen off the wagon. I doubt that that's the case. I really do have at least enough trust that they won't let money sit on the table when money can be made at the end of the day, right? That's what it's all about. So this is what people want. They don't want to pay that much. Bring in the updated P4, and guess what? Maybe for once they'll have justification to let go of the Leatherman Wave. I think it'll be a tough sell, but at least it has some positives and they can find a way to justify the difference. So that's pretty much all I want to say today. I'm sure I'm going to get tons of comments about this, and I'm sure it's going to create a stir, but I don't want people to miss out on the opportunity to get these if they still want them. There will likely be an update coming, and I'm going to make a wild prediction that it will come prior to Christmas of 2024, because I don't think they can let these be discontinued for almost an entire year before releasing something else. I feel pretty good about that prediction, and I think it'll be welcome. I think it'll be welcome to have those tools and those updates when they do come. All right, so that's pretty much it. I can't wait to hear what you guys say in the comments down below. I will be reading each and every one of them. As always, thank you guys so much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.